Welcome to the Get Fit Guys, quick and dirty tips to slim down and shape up. My name is Ben Greenfield, and I'm the Get Fit Guy. Recently, it was announced that Australian researchers started the world's first study that aims to help men lose weight and prevent diabetes by giving them testosterone. That's right. Testosterone is not just something that professional football players, bodybuilders, baseball players, weightlifters, and guys like Lance Armstrong can take to maximize sports performance. For both men and women, low testosterone, in addition to being something that can cause you to gain weight, lose motivation, and have lower sexual function, is also closely associated with chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes and poor blood sugar control. So here's the question. Should you take testosterone to get fit or to stay healthy? Well, you're going to find out in this episode and learn whether or not you can lose fat, gain muscle, or increase performance quickly without taking testosterone. So why do guys like Lance Armstrong take testosterone? You've no doubt heard about the Lance Armstrong doping fiasco, in which Lance admitted to taking a variety of illegal performance-enhancing substances, including testosterone. In a recent newsletter over at getfitguy.quickanddirtytips.com, where I put out a free newsletter every week, I acknowledge the fact that even without the use of drugs, Armstrong had some great genetic advantages. These included higher than normal VO2 max, extremely efficient slow-twitch muscle fibers, a very high ability to buffer lactic acid, and high neuromuscular recruitment of his leg muscles. So why would Lance Armstrong or any number of other athletes take testosterone? Or for that matter, why would these Australian researchers look at how testosterone can help people get more healthy? Well, one reason is that testosterone increases the size of individual muscle cells. A bigger muscle cell pulls harder, so you can gain strength that way. In addition, testosterone encourages muscle cells to build more muscle cells. So you not only get bigger cells, but you have more of them. And that means that you can contract your entire muscle stronger. But high testosterone goes beyond just getting bigger, stronger muscles or better curves. In both males and females, testosterone also makes you feel more energetic and active, increases your libido and sexual performance, improves your mental focus, increases your motivation and competitive drive, raises your emotional well-being, and lowers or controls your body fat levels. On the flip side, if your testosterone level is too low, this can contribute to reduced sex drive, decreased energy, loss of body hair, depressed mood, an increase in body fat, a decrease in bone strength, reduced muscle mass, and loss of competitive drive. But is testosterone dangerous? I mean, with all these benefits of high testosterone and drawbacks to low testosterone, why would it be banned in sports or given a raised eyebrow when it comes to supplementation as a hormone replacement therapy? Well, the answer for the question about sports is twofold. Number one, if an athlete is using testosterone, it may create an unlevel playing field, especially since hormone replacement therapy can be expensive or hard to properly manage without dosing and testing. This means using it may not be logistically or financially available to all athletes. This is a polarized topic, especially since there are amateur sports, such as triathlons, in which some individuals are taking testosterone for health reasons, but also competing. And I'll put a link in the show notes to a related interview that I did for a good perspective on this particular conundrum. You can get that over at getfitguy.quickanddirtytips.com. Or you can go to my website, bengreenfieldfitness.com, and do a search for testosterone. Number two, the use of a powerful performance-enhancing drug such as testosterone in sports sends a message that skill and hard work and practice can potentially be replaced with drugs, which is an especially damaging message to send to young athletes. What about if testosterone is being used for health reasons, though? Well, then things get a bit more tricky to understand. After all, if you're not competing in a sport that has banned testosterone's use, why not just take testosterone as a health enhancement to lose fat, gain muscle, control blood sugar, or become healthier or more motivated to exercise? Well, here's why. The risks of using a testosterone cream, injection, or patch are basically this. Each of these forms of testosterone enters your body in its free or what's called unbound form, oftentimes in significant amounts, When your pituitary gland, which is normally responsible for making the hormones, particularly one called luteinizing hormone or LH, that would normally cause you to churn out more testosterone, senses this high level of testosterone coming from these external sources, it basically shuts down your body's own production of testosterone-stimulating hormones. In addition, since all your cells operate on what's called a negative feedback loop, the more testosterone you have circulating around in your bloodstream, the less sensitive your cell surface receptors become to testosterone's action. So you need more and more testosterone to get the same effect. And when you finally do stop taking testosterone, you experience a significantly lower amount of naturally generated testosterone and a depressing withdrawal effect, which can last for many months. Now that you know the potential downside of using testosterone hormone replacement, here are some ways you can naturally increase your body's testosterone without the use of fancy pills, herbs, or supplements. Number one would be to lower your sugar intake. Anytime you eat sugar or high amounts of starches from any source, your pancreas releases insulin, and high insulin can upregulate the activity of something called aromatase, which means that more testosterone gets converted into estrogens. And this high insulin can also cause an increase in what's called sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG, and that can bind to circulating testosterone and render it relatively ineffective. So stay away from things like processed sugar, candy, soda, and even high amounts of things like pasta and bread. Number two would be to control stress. When you're stressed out, you release high amounts of your body's fight and flight hormone, cortisol. A precursor to cortisol is called pregnenolone. Unfortunately, pregnenolone is also a precursor to testosterone. So the more cortisol you make, the less testosterone your body can potentially make. A good place to start controlling stress is with simple breathing exercises. I do about 5 minutes of deep, controlled breathing every single morning. And I'll put a link in the show notes over at getfitguy.quickanddirtytips.com to a great article with tons of excellent breathing tips. Number three would be to lower inflammation. In the same way that insulin can lower testosterone, inflammation from lack of recovery, inadequate sleep, poor dietary habits, environmental toxins and pollutants, and many other common triggers can all increase levels of what are called cytokine molecules, which cause reactions similar to those experienced when you're doing something like eating a high-sugar diet. My fellow Quick and Dirty Tips host, the Nutrition Diva, actually has a great website over at inflammationfactor.com that thoroughly expands on the topic of inflammation. Number four is to exercise. Sprints, heavy lifting, doing hard leg exercises particularly, and avoiding very long cardio sessions can all help to boost testosterone. And you can read about many of these techniques in more detail in my article on this topic called 6 Ways to Boost Testosterone with Exercise. I'll link to that in the show notes too. Now, although the topic is controversial and rife with overpromotion, if you do want to learn about testosterone supplements that can naturally increase testosterone without using hormone replacement therapy, you can check out an episode I did over at bengreenfieldfitness.com where I wrote about natural testosterone precursors like vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc. I'll link to that in the show notes as well. If you have more questions about whether you should take testosterone to get fit, then you can join the conversation over at facebook.com/getfitguy. Until next time, I'm the Get Fit Guy asking you, what are you waiting for? Go get fit.